Welcome to the Performance Portfolio Podcast with Coop and Coop. With your hosts, Greg Cooper and Cooper Allen, together they bridge the gap between performance and finance to help you create your own robust performance portfolio. Today they are joined by special guest Nabi Ghani, athlete turned entrepreneur, helping Canadians build wealth and building leaders in business, stay healthy, get wealthy, be happy. With that, let's get into today's episode.
Coop, couple exciting things today. Number one, it is Game 6 of the World Series. So hopefully the boys in blue bring it home. And we have one other thing, Coop. What's that?
Yeah, today's guest is someone who I've had a front row seat in watching go from minimum wage retail employee and athlete, which he'll talk about, but to entrepreneur in financial services, building and leading a team over the past 5 years. It's grown to produce over 7 figures in revenue. We've traveled together, we've run events together, trained teams together, and Greg, I'm excited to introduce him to our network today. So Nabi Ghani, welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys for having me. And yes, like Greg said, the boys in blue got to bring it home, and Toronto's going to be a crazy place over the next 7 to 14 days, but we welcome it because all the crazies, they're here. So yeah, I'm excited to be on the show and appreciate you guys. And I'm seeing all the kind of hard work and all the great things that we're doing as well, too, as a community. And, it's going to be definitely a huge thing there. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, excited to have you on. Greg, is there any questions you want to kind of hit Nabi with right out of the gate, or what do you think we should start with for him?
Yeah, man. I mean, as a performance coach, I'm always interested in the athlete side of things. So, Nabi, give us like a bit of a rundown of your story of athlete to retail to financial world.
Man, I'll tell you that right now. So I actually put a documentary about it actually on my channel as well, too. It's actually one of my two first videos on my Instagram page. But it all started back in 2006. I was a big Kobe Bryant guy. So I come from a basketball background. I was 8 years old. I'm at my cousin's place, and I'm watching the playoffs. And it was against the Phoenix Suns back in 2006. He hit a game winner. And that iconic where he pulled his jersey and he screamed in front of the camera with all the confetti falling behind him. I remember watching as an 8-year-old, and I never even knew what the sport of basketball was. And obviously, that competitive nature inside of me came out. I didn't know it was a lie. I didn't know I had that in me. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, let's go play some basketball. And a couple of my cousins are all like 5, 10, 15 years older than me. And I'm a little scrawny 8-year-old kid. And I'm 6'6" now, but at the time I was abnormally smaller than most children in school. And so we went to the park, and man, I got bullied. I got tossed around. I got thrown around. And I just realized at that point, I said, you know what? One day I'm going to get to a point where nobody's going to be ever do that to me on the court. And so I just locked in from 8 years old to pretty much 17. I just played basketball at the local YMCA, trained, worked with a lot of guys like Dylan Brooks, who plays in the NBA right now, and a lot of NBA skills trainers from the community. I grew up with a lot of other guys that are playing high-level basketball in Europe. They actually went to my high schools, the YMCAs. So I would literally skip school to go, and because I knew these guys were at the gym at 12 o'clock to 3 when nobody was at the YMCA, I would skip school to go be with them. And so I actually had a track record. The second semester of every single year of my high school career, right, or career journey, I would literally skip half the semester, every single second semester every year, just because I would be at the local YMCA, and my parents would be getting phone calls of like, your kid's never in school, so they'd be calling me, where the hell you at? And I'm like, I'm at the YMCA playing basketball. This guy's about to go to the NBA. They're like, okay, you know what? Stay there, right? So it was awesome to kind of just work with those guys. Anyways, long story short, I was 17. My first ever year of playing high school basketball was my grade 12 year. I was actually forced to get on the team because I was one of the tallest kids in school, and nobody had a center position available, and so they needed me. And so I got started. I played really well, but I was a role player. I was a fourth option on the team. I would score that 10, 15, 20 points, dirty player, guard the big guys. And then all of a sudden, my coach comes up to me at the end of the season when we lost in the semifinals in the regional finals. And he said, look, man, if you come back and take this sport serious, you can get a free education out of it. I said, to hell with education, man. I hate school. So I said, if I come back, I can probably go far with this. And came back for my 5th-year victory lap year. I was the number one scorer in all of Ontario. I think I had 1,600 points that final season, and the second place guy had 700 points. We played 38 games that final season, and 28 of my 38 games, I had 25 points or more by halftime. I was like dunking on kids. I'm shooting threes from half court. I'm doing everything just like out of the ordinary. And yeah, I just stuck out like a sore thumb. And everybody's like, this kid's not supposed to be here playing basketball. And so I accepted a scholarship, played college ball in Oklahoma on a scholarship. Played about a year there, or half a year there. My first practice back in Oklahoma, January 3rd, 2017. It was the first play of practice, first 5 minutes. Just turned the corner, bang, felt a pop. That was my Achilles. Thankfully, it was my calf strain, but it still sidelined me for 6 months. Couldn't walk and play again for 6 months. And if anybody knows anything about sports in the States, it's a cutthroat industry, sports in general. Scholarship was revoked. They didn't want me to return. Any other school, they didn't want to take a chance on an injured international kid because the scholarships are like 5 times the most compared to in-state players. And that was it, kind of the journey in the States. Came back to Canada, went to Brock University, McMaster University here in Canada. If anybody knows about Canadian sports, your dreams die here. So when that happened, unfortunately, also at the time, my mom, she was dealing with, she got diagnosed a couple years prior with breast cancer, so she was healing from that. My father had picked up and left, so I had two sisters I had to take care of. So this is 2018, September 2018. I'm sitting here going like, either I'm going to get this economics degree, which I don't know what it is. I was just thrown into this program. And 4 years from now, I'm seeing that you can get an 80K a year salary position. And I already ran the tax situation. I said, okay, either I do this or I figure something else out. And so obviously I got two full-time jobs. Greg, I was working, I'd wake up at 3:15 in the morning. I'd go to my one job at Orange Theory Fitness by 4:45 a.m. I was a studio manager. I did that from 4:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. I had a 30-minute window, just enough for me to go to Pizzaville, grab that same veggie pizza with garlic sauce, and grab an Uber for a 15-minute Uber ride Square One here, one of the major local cities here. And I used to work at Sport Check from 1:30 to 10 p.m. I did that from 21 years of age to 23 years of age, 6 days a week, 16 hours a day. Sundays off. Sometimes I worked Sundays, maybe one of the jobs. And then yeah, that's not a life anybody should live. No 21-year-old should be able to do that, but I had to do that. I had no choice. And so pandemic hit. And pandemic hit, a good buddy of mine came to me with a business opportunity. He said, look, you're gonna keep your flag planted at Sport Check, or you're gonna do something outside of your career? I'm like, no, I'm in. Whatever you got for me, I'll do it. Legal or illegal, I don't care. Right. And so I was in. I did it. First initial year was like kind of like Cooper. We talked about a lot. I was like, you know what? I got no financial education. Let me just jump in. Let me just see how it goes. And if I do something great with it, I do something great with it. If not, I'm gonna get some education, some knowledge, and go somewhere else. Find something else. Taste something else. And I'm gonna keep trying until I find the thing that I want. But after the first year, what I found was that, in my opinion, there was nothing better for me at the time. You know, obviously, with my mom's story, with my father leaving, the lack of financial education. My parents were born and raised in Afghanistan. You know, there's no entrepreneur in our bloodline. There's nobody that comes from successful entrepreneurship. Greg, they said that my parents said you become one of four things. You go to school to get a good degree to get either become an engineer, lawyer, right, or a doctor, or the fourth one is a failure. So I guess I became the fourth option, right? I became the failure one. But fast forward 2 years into the business, I retired my mom at the age of 25. I retired her, told her, you're never going to work a day in your life ever again. And, now fast forward 2 years after that, I'm just over 4 years in business. We got 100 brokers on the team. I got an office here in Etobicoke alongside Cooper, my other business partner, Lloyd. And I got an office in Montreal. And, we're doing, we're cracking over 7 figures a year in volume now. And man, just to think like a couple years back, I was on EI and CERB, just like most Canadians. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to use my talent, I'm going to use my God-given skills and my ability to speak and make a difference in my life. So,
Shit. That was incredible, dude. Man, that stories like that make me want to run through a brick wall. Like, man, there's so many things I could just say good work on, but before I touch on one thing, I just want to make a disclaimer. If there's any young individuals or coaches watching this, Nabi is right. Canada is the place for sports where dreams come to die. But specifically if you're a coach, do not put it in your kids' heads, your athletes' heads, your sons, your daughters, that if they are not a Connor McDavid or a Kobe Bryant at age 16 to 18, that their athletic career is over. Most individuals do not go to the Olympics until they're well into their 20s, 30s. Keep going. If you're not an athlete and you're down in the dumps and you're struggling, you're almost out of money, you're almost feeling like you're out of time, do two jobs. Look at the sweet office Nabi has. Look at the life he's built. He retired his mother. That is incredible.
100%. That's what I always love that lesson anytime I hear stories that the number one rule of business is to do what you can to stay in business. Obviously, so long as it's legal and moral and ethical. And
Or not.
um, yeah, I know Davi, you said illegally and legally. I know it's type of guy here. I know it's a joke, but man, there's a lot of people that are at that point in their life, right? Where they're like, I don't care if it's legal or illegal. I got to take care of my mom. I got to take care of my sisters. I got
Yep.
to take care of my family. Uh, maybe you want to touch on that a little bit? Just the mindset of so many people where they can't think about goals and dreams and getting to the next level because they're just so focused on survival and getting by and maybe they don't have the mindset yet that you did of like, hey, my back is so far against the wall that I got nothing to lose. I'm going to do what it takes. What would your advice be to those people who are in that spot where they're kind of where you were financially and mentally and everything like that when you were younger, but maybe just don't have the mindset yet to do something about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's a BS excuse people give themselves that they can't think about their goals and dreams while they're in the gutter, while they're at rock bottom. The truth is, being at rock bottom, I always say it. Well, the only way is up at this point, right? Because you're already at the lowest of lows. And so when I was at my job at Orange Theory Fitness, and you guys know it, who comes to the gym at 5, 6 in the morning? The 5 a.m. club, the entrepreneurs, the business owners, the successful guys, right? And it was true. Having a $225 a month membership at a gym for a 1 hour boot camp, there's only a certain demographic that would do that at 5 in the morning or 4:45 in the morning. And all these men and women would come. And you know what they used to say to me, guys? Kid, what are you doing here at 4 in the morning? I'm like, first off, I'm here to open up the damn gym for you. That's one thing. But second, they're telling me, they go, kid, find something you got ownership over. They used to say that word all the time to me. Ownership, ownership, ownership. And then it got to a point where there's one guy, he owns 48 Pizza Allo franchises, right? Italian guy, he's like 46 years old. He had a nice Range Rover, jack dude. And he showed me his family photos. He showed me his house. I'm like, man, that's the lifestyle. I was like, what did you study in school? He said, school. He goes, I didn't go to school, man. And I'm like, okay, well, that's one other guy. Then I met the CEO of Yoga Canada, the largest yoga brand in all of Canada, I believe. And I met her, and she's telling me how she didn't go to school. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a theme here. You go to the gym at 5 in the morning, you don't go to school, you become successful. I'm like, all right, let me start doing this stuff. And so, but one thing they told me is read books like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. I started to read all these books because, guys, I'm at the gym at 4:45 in the morning. It opens up. They're in there for a 1 hour boot camp. The hell am I doing outside? Staring at them working out for an hour? No, I'm reading a book. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm thinking about my goals and dreams. I'm thinking about my exit strategy while I'm in hell, pretty much. I'm thinking about that constantly. And they used to tell me get ownership because they're like, kid, if you drop dead, God forbid, because they all knew my story with my mom. They go, if you drop dead, God forbid, tomorrow, this company would replace you in a heartbeat because they have to, and your family gets nothing for the rest of their life. They just lost a son. And I went, whew. I was like, somebody needed to tell some 21-year-old kid that. And I'm glad they knew me because they knew I wouldn't cry and go, that's morbid. Don't tell me that. Kind of like how some people think. I was like, thank you for telling me that. That's real life. And I started to just think about my goals and dreams. And so the mindset was, if you're at rock bottom now, great job. I mean, the good news is you can't get any worse because you're already at the lowest of lows. So the better news is the only way is up now. And so if you're at rock bottom, think about the goals and dreams. Think about the things that you want to accomplish in your life. Because the truth is, it doesn't matter what product or service you want to sell. I said it on training in front of my agency the other day. The guy that makes $1 billion a year, right, that runs a massive organization laying bricks and has 1,000 employees, didn't wake up and was turned on by the idea of a brick. He just knew the fact that he can monetize that business model, right? And tell enough people about it, build a couple marketing systems around it, and just work at it 7 days a week until you become a billionaire. So it doesn't matter about the product or service. You just gotta look at, man, you wanna stay broke or try to become wealthy? Because by the way, both are very hard. And so I always tell people that choose your heart because they're both gonna be very difficult. But you're already at rock bottom. So the only way is up. So I tell people.
Yeah, I love that. It couple takeaways I took from that is one, if you want better opportunities to fall in your lap, you need to get better. So people, when you're reading books and doing things like that, all the work that was unnoticed, you probably thought at the time that it was unnoticed. People noticed.
Hmm.
Lloyd probably came to you because he noticed a change in your conviction and your confidence in the way you thought. People at the gym noticed a little bit about how you'd show up a little bit differently, and maybe not all the time, uh, but just subtle things here and there. So that's my first takeaway: is if you're in a tough spot, for you to get better results externally, you got to start getting better results internally. The second thing is if you're listening to this and you're in a leadership position or a role where you've got the ability to recruit or hire, instead of just looking at somebody's resume, maybe start getting to know people. Because people lie on a resume, or resumes aren't necessarily all that they're cracked up to be all the time. But somewhere out there, there's somebody who's making 15 bucks an hour that you're in a leadership role writing off right now because they're only making 15 bucks an hour, or they only have XYZ in their resume, and they may quote unquote never amount to anything. But little do you know that they're sitting there at 5 in the morning in that $20 an hour job, reading Think and Grow Rich and waiting for an opportunity. So it's kind of both sides, is become the person worthy of opportunity. But if you're the one giving out opportunity, don't rule anyone out. 'Cause you never know. You can't measure the heart of a champion from the outside.
And I love that you said that because I was going to say exactly that. I'm making 14 bucks an hour. I'm 22 years old. I'm sitting here like I was the most talented basketball player at the time, my final year in high school, playing with guys that are making millions of bucks in the NBA. And then the reality hit me as I'm grabbing shoes for this like 70-year-old guy at like 10 in the morning at Sport Check. I'm sitting here, what is my life? Like this is where I've ended up. I gave this thing blood, sweat, and tears for 13 years, and I'm at 14 bucks an hour grabbing shoes for somebody. I was like, this cannot be it. And he's, that movie scene where it's like the guy gets in his head and it's like all the past things coming in his head. I was like, dude, I got to do something more in my life. And so I locked in, I thought about it, and thankfully the right person came and gave me the opportunity. And I took the opportunity, by the way. One thing I want to say, I didn't think it was a scam. I didn't think it was a pyramid. I didn't think it was one of those deals. I said, what is it? Barely told me what it was. I'm all in. Anything's better than where I'm at right now. So I'll try it. Worst case, if I don't like it, I'll just go somewhere else. But I think a lot of people have analysis paralysis. They want to know about all the decisions. They want to know about the product, the service, how much money you're going to make, what are you going to do, what's my lifestyle like, what's my daily schedule like, am I going to be successful? Hey, is anybody here that's successful? It's like, does that even matter if other people are successful or not? Don't you think that if nobody else is successful, you should be thinking, I'm going to be the one to be the first person to be successful. And then I will lead the wave and everybody behind me is going to follow. So if you didn't find anybody that is successful, then go you be the person that becomes successful and people are going to follow you. Why can't you be the one that kind of paves the way for everybody to come? Because other people have done it for other industries. So why can't you be the first person? And so that's just been my mentality from day one. And I give that to basketball because if it wasn't for basketball, I'd probably be playing video games right now.
Man, I love that. And I want to go back to what you were saying on when you were opening the gym at 4 a.m. and you had all of these successful people in their own right, giving you advice, right? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
You could be working that same job, open the door, not say anything, maybe even say morning, yeah, and be at the front desk scrolling Instagram or whatever, doing whatever. And not one of those people would have said that. But because you were, hey, good morning. Yeah, you need a towel. You were active, right? I could visualize exactly how you were
Oh,
in
yeah.
those mornings. You might have been dog tired, but you were there. And because they saw that energy, that's why they started saying, kid, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Right? So again, just reading between the lines for our listeners, if you're listening to that and you know somebody that's like that, or you are that right now, don't just go through the motions, whether it's your minimum wage job or you're in a leadership role right now and you feel safe. Do not just go through the motions, right? Everybody is replaceable, but make it so if you are replaced, it takes 4 to 5 people.
Yeah. That's a great line. 100%. You are right. I show up at 4 in the morning just thinking about it right now. I love how you said that. Dude, I'm like the most enthusiastic door opener in the world at 4:45 in the morning. Like, I'm like welcoming these people, dead tired, sometimes sick out of my mind, wanting to actually strangle them, thinking like you were put on this earth to come to this gym at 4:45 in the morning, hence why I have this job. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm sitting here like, I gotta be the best at it. I got to be the best at opening the door, the best at smiling, the best at greeting people, the best at sales. If I can become the best at something, and I always wanted to be the number one at everything I do, because winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is, in my opinion. And so, just if I can be the best at something, I'm going to be better at it, and I'm going to show other people around it. And like I said, you pave the way, and some people are going to follow, and doors are going to open up left, right, and center.
100%. One thing I've noticed in the last couple episodes we've recorded too is so many people are looking for tactics. They want to know, hey, how do I need to do this? What do I need to do to get to the next level? But the reality is that when I listen to the way you think, or Josh Kosnick we had in the last show, when I listen to the way Josh thinks, when I talk with Greg the way he thinks, the real tactic is adopting the mindset of the people who are getting on these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll figure out the how when you understand the why.
Absolutely.
When you can take the adversity that you're going through, the circumstances that you're under, and go, how would Nabi think about this? How would Greg think about this? How would Josh think about this? And you put yourself in those shoes and come at it from not, instead of a mindset of victimhood and poor me, you're coming at it from a place of like, hey, my back's against the wall, but I'm going to get this figured out no matter what. That's one of the things I've always noticed with you, Nab, is that regardless of what you're going through, you find a way to spin it in a way that serves you. Like the whole, instead, if you had an enemy, instead of being mad that you had an enemy, you use the enemy as fuel and you play angry instead of being like hurt by the situation and things like that. So that's an overarching feeling I was getting just listening to you guys talk. But second thing I was thinking of is just a lot of people talk about adversity in our business, and I've never really understood it in the sense that like I've gone through adversity in my personal life, but adversity in business is just people saying no to your product or service, realistically, or question. Like it doesn't feel that hard to me, but then I find a lot of new people come into our world and they start talking about the adversity of the business. And do you kind of feel the same way? Like I know you've gone through stuff in your personal life, but as you transitioned and learned about the financial industry and entrepreneurship, was any of it really that hard, or was the hard part trying to continue to stay focused on it and motivated while you were going through life stuff as well?
I got to be careful how I answer this because I know a lot of my team's going to watch and future teammates. You know what's hard? When I couldn't walk for 6 months, when you had to run for 3 hours in a row twice a day, when you had to work out and you pulled a muscle, you broke a bone, you know what I mean? You're recovering for 3 months. You're waking up so tired out of your mind to go to practice here, rest, recovery. That's hard. Picking up a phone, DMing somebody, making a phone call, solving somebody's problem, and then they say the word no to you or block you or say F off. If we can't as a society handle somebody telling us that, and there's 19 million people in Ontario, 9 million in Quebec, 5 million people in Alberta, call it 40 million in Canada, 350 million in the US, and one person changes our attitude for the rest of the day, there's a different problem there. That's not adversity. That just means you're a pansy, right? We're just internally we're weak, and that's okay. I'm not saying I was this hard-notched, tough-skinned guy, but when you look at when you look at it, when you really dissect it, when you really look at somebody that when they say no to you, they're saying no to you based on their values and their insecurities and their mindset and thought processes. They're not actually saying no to you and your product. They're saying no how they think about the product. They're saying no how they think about the company. It's about them. So when somebody says no to me, I'm going, man, I'll pray for this person. Like, holy smoke, you probably were praying for an opportunity so bad or a product so bad that God put me in your path, and all of a sudden you said no to me. I don't take that offense to me. I say you just said no to God. Right, not to get biblical or faith, or I'm Muslim. I know you guys are men of faith as well, but everything happens for a reason. So you probably DM that person because you landed on their page somehow, some way. Out of the 700 billion people on Instagram, you landed on this person's page. And you decide to DM them, and they ignored you, left you on red, blocked you, or said no. And I'm sitting here like that person probably was praying for an opportunity, and the opportunity came, they didn't take it. So I don't take offense to that. So I don't think it's hard. And I think people in business have got to understand that business is going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy all the time, but business it is simple because your income is tied to your skills. So Cooper, the thing is, when somebody says no to me, it's never a no, never. It's a no, not right now. That's all it is. And I said, you know what? Timing is everything. Don't worry about it. Cooper, is it okay if I touch base with you 6 months from now? They go, yeah. Okay, awesome. So, Cooper, since I'm not going to see you the next 6 months, right? Happy Thanksgiving if they're in the US, right? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, enjoy Valentine's, and I'll probably see you around April Fool's. If not, Happy April Fool's Day, and I'll see you after that. And I'll let them know off rip. I will be touching you 6 months from now because fortune is in the follow up. Greg, the reason why I'm in business right now is because I was followed up with by my mentor, by my brother, Lloyd Nazareth, 5 times over like a 2 year span. He followed up with me every 6 months, kept dripping on me, kept dripping on me. He keeps sending me articles. He keeps sending me like, hey, look at this Rolls Royce. You know, it's like 6 grand a month, but you can't have that if you're working a job. Like, just little things like that. And it just got me mad. I'm like, you know what? This guy's right. I gotta listen to him eventually. And so, being that 23-year-old kid chasing the next best thing and the shiny thing. So for all our young listeners, you're young right now, but you're not going to be young forever. Newsflash. Okay. And you don't want to be that person where, you know what, you're in your 40s, 50s, struggling to figure things out, right? Whether it is, by the way, a job, this isn't just about entrepreneurship. If you love your job, that's great. Be the best at your job, climb to the very top of your job. One of the best advice was given to me was like climbing the corporate ladder. When screw that, why can't you own the damn ladder, right? So if you want to become an entrepreneur, but if you want to climb the corporate ladder, I want your mindset to be climb it to the very top. Make sure everybody knows who you are. Be the best at what you do. And you said, Cooper, one thing. What would I do here? You know what I should think of? WWKD. What would Kobe do? What would Kobe do? How would Kobe think about this? And would he weasel out and go, oh, you know what? Somebody else is going to take this position, or say, to hell with that. I'm gonna fight till the final breath, and there's going to be one man standing, and it's going to be me. And that's always been my mentality. So, gladiator side coming out there, but yeah.
Man, I love that. And the follow up is just so important. And especially on that note, because I will say this, because from my sales background, cold calling can be intimidating. But again,
Yeah.
choose your heart.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and you were the one who said this, so adversity, I'm just rephrasing it, in the business world usually is self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Watch me slowly build this brick wall, then run full speed into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same individual goes, what happened? There was a brick wall right in front of me. Bro, I watched you build it for a week.
Yeah.
Then you sprinted full
Yeah.
speed into it. All
100%.
you needed to do was either ask for help, look at a colleague, like, hey, if your cold calls have been going nowhere for a week straight, look in the mirror, look at your notes and go, okay, I've started the same way for a week straight. Maybe it's time to mix it up. Maybe it's time to change the formula. So, yeah, like you can't be afraid of the word no. In fact, it's one of the most powerful words in the English language.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, I love that. And it kind of brings me to my next thing that I wanted to ask you on. We've been talking about mindset. We've been talking about the success factors. We've been talking about what it really takes to go from rock bottom, from down in the dumps to creating success, whether it's as an entrepreneur, as an intrapreneur, climbing the corporate ladder, but specifically in the finance world. And the more time I spend with all of you awesome guys in the finance world, what is the differentiator for somebody who creates great success and great wealth for themselves and their family versus somebody who does just continue to build brick walls for themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. First off, I want to say creating an income for yourself in any fashion in the world is going to be one of the hardest things you could possibly do, right? Because we are accustomed to, getting a paycheck or putting in time for money. And so all of a sudden now when you go into a position where now you have to increase your skills to be able to talk to somebody that either A, they know you or don't know you, to be able to sell them on a product and or service to create income, it is going to be a difficult task, but it is worth it. And so, going back to your question, I think in the business world, in the finance world, like I said, your income is tied to your skills. So as I was, and I'm going to relate it to basketball because I always have the basketball analogies. Before I start to play the season, I'm in the gym, I'm putting up shots, I'm working out, I'm getting good sleep, I'm eating healthy before the season starts. As the season has started, okay, and for people in our business, right, or the business world, you're probably in the licensing phase of your company, right? You're probably getting licensed, you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to do this business one day. Let me get my license now. You got to be able to sharpen your axe as you're in licensing. You got to learn the product. You got to learn the service. You got to learn the words of the business, the scripts, the cold call, the warm phone call scripts, whatever it is as you're in licensing. Because then when you are licensed, you're ready to play in the season. I see way too many athletes, but I also see way too many people that begin into business, whether it's real estate, mortgages, solar, whatever you name it, insurance, investments. They get a license and then, Greg, then they start when they're licensed. It's like it's way too late. Like you've already delayed your success by at least 6 months to a year. You should have been doing it while you were in licensing, while you were in the beginning stages, before the world tells you can't make it happen. You need to be delusional about the success you're about to come across and start to practice now. So then when you come across it and the real world is like, man, they're shitting on you. They're telling you can't make it happen. Nobody's going to be successful in that business. You're like, I prepared for that. I knew this was going to happen. All right, you know what? I'm thankful I have the skills to enough to handle this scenario. Or I have the tough skin inside of me internally to know that, you know what, that's just their insecurity speaking. That's not actually me. And so the ones that kind of build that brick wall up, that victim mentality, I'm never going to make it happen, right? Couple things. They need extra accountability. They need extra guidance. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result, right? So if that person's not getting a result, you know what? That's where us as leaders, if you're in a leadership position, you got to be able to identify that person struggling, pull them aside, maybe take them out to dinner or lunch for half an hour, sit them in your office and go, hey, look, I know what you're going through is tough. Believe me, I've been there, done that. Let me tell you exactly what you got to do in order to fix it. It's a very simple fix. And you got to be able to look at their business from the 30,000 feet above view point and look at it and go, look, you're messing up here, you're messing up here, you're not doing this right. If you fix these three things, a lot of your problems are going to be solved. And in our business, the one thing that solves everything is two things. I say volume and picking up the damn phone, making contacts. We're in a contact sport, not like football or basketball, but we are in a contact sport. The more contacts you make, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. It's one of my favorite lines, right? The more people you talk to, the more people will, right? And if somebody says no right now, I'm like, all right, next. My mentality is, all right, next. I'll come back to you, next. And I'm going to keep talking to as many people as I can because our business is so good that if I sit in front of 10 people, 5 to 7 will say yes. 2 to 3 will say not right now. 1 will say block my number. Don't call me ever again. They'll probably cuss me out. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. God bless. I'll pray for you, my brother. Right? And it's all right. It's okay. We just keep moving. So, yeah, your income is tied to your skills, guys. So if you're struggling in business or in any sales role in the world or even your job, look back at your skills. Look back at how much you've worked on your craft internally and externally, whatever product, whatever service, whatever company you're in. And, yeah, just increase those skills, and I think a lot of your problems will 1000% be solved.
Love that. And just a reminder for everybody listening, a good batting average in the MLB is about 270. That's less than 50%. So if you're getting 270 on your calls, you're killing it.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I think sport is one of the best teachers for life. Is yeah, your 3-point shot doesn't go in every time. You're not getting on base every single time. Every shot you take in hockey is not going in, so on and so forth. And it's interesting you say that because as I hear you say that, Nabi, I think about you and I getting to know one another really well through early 2022 before you and I had made real money in this industry. But we both knew the industry. We both knew the business. And outside of our internal company training program, we were going to personal development events. We were looking up YouTube videos on sales and marketing and our business specifically in our system. And it's so funny because we were chatting at the time. We're like, man, how do we know so much about this, but we haven't made that much money yet? But it's that adage of, yeah, you're going to get underpaid and overworked for a period of time to be overpaid and underworked for a lifetime. And there's so many people that have been in business the same amount of time as you that aren't independent yet, still rely on you or me or other people for advice. It's like, guys, you've had 4 or 5 years, 2, 3 years to develop your skills that like Nabi had this figured out in 6 weeks. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you've got your training university for your team. When you shared it with me, I think I went through all of it in like 2 days. I'm like, just give me the information. And it was stuff that I mostly already knew. And I'm like, I want Nabi's perspective on this. I want to learn. I want to take it in. And, the other thing that you said too is you looked at it from a leadership lens of, hey, you need to be able to coach your people on when they're messing up. When you're also in the follower chair, if you're sitting in Nabi's office and he's letting you know that you're messing up, you need to be able to take that advice and take that feedback. Because that was one thing you also did very well is when other people in our business came to you when you were in a mentee role, not a mentor role, you didn't mope that you were doing things wrong. You actually went the other direction and said, thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that you care about me enough to criticize me. So I think that's one of the things in personal development that I don't fully agree with, that idea that, oh, the only people that'll criticize you are the people doing worse off than you. No, it's actually there's people that are ahead of you that care about you, that send the elevator down and want to help bring you up, and you're ignoring them because you think it's hate speech. It's not hate speech. They're trying to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's awesome.
Coop,
Kind of a
really,
question on
really
that
quick
point.
on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's really funny you say that because I've been auditing myself when I'm coaching lately, my judo athletes, especially the young kids. And as a general rule, I coach my kids to let them know, hey, if I'm giving you feedback, there's a reason I'm giving you this feedback because it's going to help you specifically for you. And so coaches need to coach their audience that it's okay to take criticism from coach. You can't just be lazy and go, oh, well, this person's uncoachable. No, you haven't made them coachable yet.
Yeah.
But then how you do it matters. When I've given athletes feedback like, oh, you're doing great, especially young kids. Oh, really good. Excellent. Good. Yeah, they feel good about themselves. But even at a young age, or let's go to business, even the first 6 to 9 months you know that you probably weren't actually doing excellent. So make sure the verbiage is correct. Great improvement, great corrections you're making. You're on the right path, keep going. When you use words like that, I see a shift in the athletes going like, oh, I'm doing the right thing now. Good. And then they keep striving for more. Don't give kudos and pats on the back. That's what moms are for, right? Mom's there to tell you, good job, honey, you're doing great.
Yeah.
As coaches, as mentors, as leaders, you need to give the correct feedback. So it's just wanted to get that out there because it's been something I've been focused on the last few weeks.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you something, the 20 percenters, 80 percenters, when you give advice to an 80 percenter, if they take that to heart and they go and say, oh, this guy's an a-hole, he's a jerk. And then a 20 percenter goes and gets that same advice and they make it happen. They make that switch. Sometimes, guys, if you have to massage somebody's ear to give them advice and you can't be real with them, odds are, because I used to see it on my basketball team, when the coach used to yell at me from across the gym and cuss me out in front of 30 people, in front of all the training staff, in front of people, based on one little mistake I did. And then the bench guy, when he made that mistake and he didn't even care and he even tell him, it's a reason why. He cared about me and my success. He knew the bench guy was never going to get in the game. He knew that guy was never going to show up before practice and stay after practice. So he knew he was going to waste his breath on that guy. And so he really coached me because he knew I was going to make an improvement. One thing I learned in the business world, you have to be able to coach everybody, right? And you have to be able to do it in a different way based on their communication style. Because some people aren't going to hear how you say something to one person. Like if you coach me, Greg, I would appreciate you if you grab me, drape me up against the wall and be like, bro, you got to fix up, man. And I'd be like, thank you. But I'm sure if you did it to some other guy who has never handled that, he's going to go, I'm out the program, right? And so you got to be able to know how to coach either person. I think the sports world is obviously very cutthroat, but in business in general, everybody has to be coached. And you have to figure out how everybody likes to be coached so that way you can coach them so they can hear the message you're giving them too. So
100%. Going back to that 80-20 thing as well, as an 80 percenter, for me, I was less inspired by being a 20 percenter than I was fearful of being an 80 percenter. Because there's times where when you as a leader, I as a leader have gone soft on people, their mindset, their 80%er mindset tells them, this is kind of cool that Nabi's been so nice to me lately.
Yeah.
My mindset as a 20%er, I go, Nabi, you're getting soft on me.
Hmm.
That tells me you're starting to give up on me. Please don't give up on me, man. I'm just going through a lull.
Yeah.
Stay on me, bro. Stay with me, bro. And there's been ebbs and flows in both of our businesses where that's been the case. And just so many people have that, they just have it twisted in how they look at it. They go, man, he's being so much nicer. He's being so much more lenient, so much more patient. It's like, no, you don't want that. You know, because now they've changed their perspective of you. Your brand to the rest of the team is now unreliable, or that you can't be coached and that you're too emotional and you're too sensitive and we can't tell you the truth. That's not only are those not business partners you want, those aren't friends you want,
Yeah.
right? I don't want my brand with my friends to be, man, I can't tell the truth to Coop about how he parents or how he is as a spouse or that he's getting a little bit out of shape or whatever. It's like, no, man, I want people around me to challenge me to be my best.
Hmm.
So,
I love
uh,
that.
on that note, another question I had for you, Nab, is I've watched you go through different periods of your business. There's been times where your growth came from just all grit, where Greg talked about the brick wall. Instead of you running into the brick wall and getting stopped by it, you made the brick wall, but then you just ran through it. Helmet on, helmet off, didn't matter. You just ran through all grit, don't quit. There's been times in your business where you've had your growth, yeah, because of that, because of work ethic. Other times it's been because of professional growth, developing your skills, understanding the industry, student of the business, learning the words, learning the products. And there's also been times where you've had growth in your business, but from a personal growth point of view, understanding people, understanding yourself, having a vision, being a student of life. Of those three buckets, what would you say is the most important part, or maybe the most impactful part of your learning and growth journey? And do you think someone needs all three to be successful, or maybe can they get away with not having to do some of that stuff?
Yeah, great question. Going to basketball, do you need to know how to dribble a ball, make a layup, and shoot a basketball? Yes, you do. You do. Or else you're not making it to the NBA or going professional. Do you need to be the best at just a three-pointer and not good? So you got to look at kind of like look at the career you want to have. If you want to be the best at it, the your legacy, everybody's going to kind of put your last name on their backs. They're going to fight for you. Your team's going to rally up from all across. Then yeah, you do got to become the best at all three. And so that was my mindset. But I think if I were to start somewhere, it depends. If you want quick money, if you want to make money fast, you got to get ultra good at the sales portion and sales processes of your company and your business model, like yesterday. If you want to make quick money, if you want to if you understand that this is a long term, because obviously entrepreneurships it's a marathon, not a sprint. And if you want to kind of look at it going like, you know what, this is a 5, 10 year, 15, 25 year game plan, right? As you're learning the sales processes but not putting 100% of energy into that basket, you're learning a lot about yourself and other people to be able to know how to lead and grow a team and be in a leadership position. Then that's fine. Right. So you got to kind of look at what it is that you want. I'll tell you what I wanted 4.5 years ago. I told myself I want to make money, but I'm in here for the long haul. That if I don't make money now, right now, I'm good to be, like you said, right? Underpaid, overworked. So one day, right, I'm overpaid, underworked, right? And I think I'm in that position now, which I'm grateful for. But this started 4.5 years ago. In fact, it actually started in 2019, March 17th of 2019. I remember I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'll never forget it. That date was the day I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I finished that 300 some odd page book in about a week. Assets, liabilities. And you know what? My biological father was the poor dad. I'm reading that. I'm going, holy smokes. I said, I need a rich dad in my life. I don't got a rich dad. And so thankfully coming across like my CEO, for example, seeing that as like that rich dad figure of like multiple income streams, building the business, having people work for you. Because he said to me, he says, the only legal way to make money without showing up, right? Talking about illegal, but legal way is you either have people work for you, money work for you. Right. And so you got to figure out one of the either. And it starts off with the business owner, right? You have people work for you or having a sales organization in whatever fashion. And then eventually, right, you start to have money to invest. You have one golden goose that lays all the golden eggs, and then you diversify. Right? That saying of a millionaire has seven streams of income. No, they don't. They have one stream of income they got really good at, and then they diversified. Okay. Then they got into real estate, they got into crypto, they got into buying companies or whatever it is. And they diversified then, right? So, to answer your question there, Coop, long story short, you want to become the best at it. You got to become best at everything that your business has to entail. And if you want to just get good at one thing, which we do see in our company, don't we? We see really good people that help client side, but they don't know how to build and recruit an agent. They don't know how to lead somebody. Then you have somebody that knows how to do that, but they don't know how to sell. If you can have both and get really good at both, you're going to get fast success and you're going to build a company here. And after a decade, I mean, they say the average millionaire takes 12 to 14 years. With technology now is between 5 to 7, based on what they've said in any business model in the world. But yeah, I think some people can do that within a decade, 100%.
I love it. Greg, this is probably super interesting for you where we're talking about this through the lens of finance, but you're listening to it through the lens of performance and your past experiences, hey?
Man, I love it. And like the more like I get to talk to Cooper all the time. And the more I learn about the finance world, and I knew enough about it. My dad was really good with his finances, his degrees in differential calc, and taught me a lot about that. So I understand enough to get myself in trouble. But now with my lens and my experiences as a performance coach and seeing it, the parallels between finance and the world of sports and performance, they're they're razor thin. Like people thinking like they're complete opposites. In my opinion, you couldn't be more wrong. Like there's so many things that are the same. Teams, coaches, mentors, success factors, lag measures, lead measures, training, all of this stuff. And that is why athletes, and whether you are a high level athlete, you're a rock star like Nabi, whatever, even if you were just the high school house league team, people who do sports will have a greater level of success in the future at any level because they understand a team mentality. They understand coaching. They understand losing. They
Mm-hmm.
understand losing is not the worst thing in the world. They understand
Yeah.
winning feels really good. And I want to replicate that feeling. Oh, I got to hold the trophy.
Yeah.
That's sick, right? And it's the same thing in finance. When you get to go, wow, I made $250,000. Wow, I made $500,000. And it's never the be all end all. And it's never, I wouldn't say it's never enough, but it's always leaves you that feeling of like, great, how can we build this now for the team, for my family, for the guys that are looking up to me as their mentor now. So I love more and more spending time with the finance world because it's just truly interesting to me.
I love that. And I love you said it was sports backgrounds. Man, when we talk about recruiting, I'm like, I want to recruit not only the parents because they have a big why for their children, like the single moms and single dads I've come across, hospitality people, people from the hospitality industry, because they're great with people because they have to be, right? They have no choice. Like, have you ever been to a restaurant, your server's like, hi, what can I get you? I'm like, dude, go bring me somebody else, right? And so, but sports, people from a sports background, because they're disciplined, they got good habits, they can understand coaching, they understand feedback, they understand winning is more fun than fun is fun. They understand
Love it.
losing is a part of the success, right? They need to lose. They're going to lose more than they win. And my favorite quote is success is going to feel a lot like failure when you're going through it. You know, a lot of people ask me, I just accomplished a business milestone in business recently, last month. And, a lot of people have asked me, how does it feel? And I was like, man, it feels so long ago. Like, it feels like, even though it was like a couple weeks ago, it feels like I'm just past it. Like, next, I'm thinking next thing mentality. I enjoyed it. I partied. I gave myself the pat on the back. We had the party, we had the cake. But it's like now, all right, let's go for more. And I think for some people, that's why, I mean, if you look at some sports teams, when they have a parade after they win for their city, it's a 1 day parade.
Yes.
They don't parade for a month. They don't parade for 2 months. It's 1 day. They enjoy it. The players understand, all right, next season, let's go. Right? They're not going to parade for a whole year. They're, yeah, you know what? You're a former champ. That's former, right? Or current, sure, but you got to go again. And so, yeah, I think it's a big thing you said. I love recruiting athletes because they understand the sports mentality.
Man, I love that. We could talk to you for a long time, and we're going to have a lot of conversations in the future. But I think this is a great spot to end off today's episode. Um, Coop, any last notes before I send us off?
I don't think so, man. Just from my side, I appreciate you popping on today. Appreciate your perspective and being able to deliver to our audience. And I hope the people that were listening take the time, not just if they're listening to it in a car or at the gym or something like that. I hope you actually take the time to go back and with a pen and paper and actually take some notes and study the way that Nabi thinks, study the way that Greg thinks, because it's one thing to hear something, it's another thing to understand it and internalize it and reflect on it and put it into action. And every time we train a team together, you and I always talk about, man, if people could just get it, if they just took what we said and actually put it in action, they wouldn't need any more training. This would be the only one that they need. And same thing is you probably don't need to listen to 100 more episodes of Greg and I. You could just listen to this one we did with Nabi today and the one last week with Josh, and everything you need to know about how to think and how to get your mind right and your money right is all in the last hour here and an hour in the last episode. So appreciate you leading from the heart, and none of this was scripted, you guys. It was Nabi said, "Hey, let's wing it. Let's talk from the heart," and I think he delivered.
And Nabi and I
100%.
did just meet. I actually don't follow him on Instagram yet. I'll be full disclosure there. So for people like me who aren't following you, Nabi, how can we connect with you? How can we see more of your content and get in touch with you?
Yeah, first and last name Nabi Ghani. I mean that's where I'm at. I'm on social media. I post a lot of my journey, post a lot of my kind of lifestyle content, kind of business milestones, some event stuff, some recaps, some cool stuff there. So we post a lot of that. But I just want to say thank you for you guys for having me on. I mean, for what you guys are doing for the community. I mean, it all starts somewhere. This thing one day is going to be at 5,000, 50,000, 5 million listeners. And believe me, best believe I'm going to be there again. And so you guys do some great things for the community. And I hope everybody that's listening to this thing, I hope one thing resonated with you. Maybe not all, maybe you didn't hear everything I said, but just remember how it made you feel and just take action on that, right? So that's all I can kind of give you. And if you're looking for an opportunity, man, Greg and Cooper, you can get them on your podcast and they can share what they want to share. So that's all I got for you boys.
Appreciate it, Nabi. You guys heard it. Share the show. Follow Nabi on social media at nabi.yani, and we'll see you guys next time. Nabi, thanks for joining us.
Like,
Appreciate you guys.
subscribe, and follow.
Love it.